Okay, so in this instance, for each of the following sets of data, it wants me to calculate the following. So let's have a look at B. Okay, so for B, okay, it wants me to calculate the range. Okay, now to calculate some of these, including the range and the median, I'm better off reorganizing my data. So what I'm going to do is organize it from lowest to highest. So I've got a 2 there, I've got another 2, I've got, my next number would actually be 8. I then have a 10, and then I have a 13. Okay, and I've crossed them out to make sure I haven't missed anything. Okay, so in terms of here, I, which is my range is my maximum, take my minimum. Now, my maximum number is 13. I take away my minimum number, which is 2, and so my range is 11. Okay. I then want to also find my mean. Okay, so the mean, okay, mean is equal to sum of scores over the number of scores, okay, or the number of data. So let's have a look here. The sum of my data is 2 plus 2 plus 8 plus 10 plus 13. And that's all over the number of scores that I have. Okay, and in terms of this, my number of scores that I have, if I look at it, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I simply do there is I just put 5 down the bottom, and then I work that out. Okay. So I add my top row together, which is 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 8 is 12, plus 10 is 22, plus 13 is 35. So I end up with that's equal to 35 over 5, and in this instance 35 over 5 equals 7. So my mean is 7. Okay. I then want to have a look at my median. Okay, so if we have a look at the median for this data, okay, so my median for the data is where essentially we have a look at this data, okay, and I go through and I do the following. I cross the top and the bottom out, and then I balance it out as I go through, and I'm left with 8. So that there is my median. Okay, so essentially I can write here that my median is equal to 8. Okay, it then wants me to also find my mode. Okay, so my mode, okay, mode is most frequent. Okay, or the one that occurs the most. Okay, right, and so the one that occurs the most that we can actually see here, there's 2 2's, so my mode is 2 in this instance. Okay, now let's have a look at D. Okay, so with D, like with anything, I need to reorganize this data, okay, into lowest to highest. So let's go and reorder it from lowest to highest. So there's a 20 there, and I'm going to cross that out. Okay. And then 24 will be my next number, and then I'll have a 25, and another 25, and another 25, and a 37. Okay, and so what I do now is I simply look at, well, I need to work out my range. So my range is equal to my maximum number take my minimum number. So my maximum here is 37. I take my minimum, which is 20, and so my range is 17. Okay. I then need to have a look at my mean. Okay, and so with my mean here, okay, my mean is my sum of scores over my number of scores. Okay, and so what I simply need to do here is I write 20 plus 24 plus 25. Now I don't need to write absolutely all these numbers out. I can go plus, right, to indicate that I'm going to keep on with this pattern, and go dot dot dot, because someone will then know what that actually means. I'm summing up all these scores, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scores here. Okay, and so all I simply need to do is then divide that by 6, because there's 6 scores. Now, because these numbers are quite big, I can actually use my calculator to sum them up. So that's going to equal 156 over 6. Okay, and when I do that in my calculator, it ends up being that my mean is 26. Okay, so I also need to identify my median. Okay, so identifying my median in this instance, right, what I will do is I then cross out the top and the bottom, and I keep crossing out then the top and the bottom as I come through here, and I end up with 25 and 25. Halfway between those two is where my median lies, so it lies in here. Okay, but halfway between 25 and 25 in this instance is simply 25, so it means that my median, right, is 25. Okay. I then also have to then find my mode. Okay, and so my mode is my most frequent. Okay, and the most frequent one here is, obviously, if we're looking at it, the most frequent is 25. Okay, so my mode is equal to 25 in this instance. Okay, as well. Okay, and so that's how I can analyze this data.